What's up, y'all? Beyond the harmony.com. I am C-Dub. Welcome to the West Side, Cecil West. Back again, my friends, with the one and only.
This is John. I don't want to hear your lippy.
And we got another question of the day. In this one, I'm going to pit two friends against each other. I'm going to make brothers fight. I'm going to make Bone fans split down the middle. We're going to separate the pop from the underground. Are you ready, John? This is Mortal Kombat. I'm asking, are you Crossroad or are you The Crossroads?
I am Crossroad all day, every day, hustling to get paid, trying to make some cheese. Yeah, no, Crossroad, the original, the real MFN THUG original. Hate to sound critical. Yo, shit, I ain't feeling yo. I am the original Crossroad from the original East 1999. The Crossroads, when that came out, I was like, the only reason I pushed it was because I push anything for Bone. And when The Crossroads came, I was like, finally, I got something commercial. Somehow, some way, there's so much machinery behind pushing this song on the world. I'm going to run with it just so that my favorite band can be my favorite band 20 years into the future. And thank God for The Crossroads. But I wasn't really feeling it. Even when I was pushing it, I felt like a fraud because I was like, and then I'll tell you this, I used to buy the Eternal album like whenever I would go to a store and I would see it on a display, I would just buy it. So and I'd give it away. And then when they removed the Crossroad, or when they removed Crossroad and replaced it with the Crossroads on the CD, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to buy the CD anymore. And I was like, why didn't they just put it as a bonus track? Because I think there was even space for it. And they
Yeah.
ruined Eternal by taking away Crossroad and replacing it with the Crossroads, because now I can't even get Crossroad at that point. And I was like, hey, you guys just I used to buy your album all the time, and now you taking one of my favorite tracks. The Crossroad is one of my favorite songs on the album, let alone me liking it more than The Crossroads. And losing Crossroad, I think that's what gives me this bad feeling about The Crossroads. I wanted an album that had both, and once The Crossroads replaced Crossroad, I became bitter and angry at The Crossroads and have a bad taste in my mouth ever since because it replaced one of my top 5 favorite tracks on Eternal.
First, before we get going, do you know that I believe it's European? There is a release. It's European, maybe, that has both. Exactly the way you just said it. It's got Crossroad, and then track 18 is The Crossroads, the DJ Unique Mo Thug mix. Did you know that?
No, and it's too bad that album isn't the one that I used to see at Circuit City, because I wouldn't despise The Crossroads if that was always the case. I'd probably love The Crossroads if that was the case, but no, I didn't know that. That's great to know. I was hoping something. I was hoping somebody out there knew, hey, a CD's 80 minutes. Can we just put both versions on there? Why would you replace Crossroad?
So my theory on why it got bumped, and maybe they released that one in the US too, and that would actually help my theory. But my guess is that song was so big, and they wanted it to shine, that they wanted no fucking confusion. So with them both on there, I'm wondering if people were getting to like track 8 and they were like, this isn't The Crossroads. Like, this isn't the fucking song I want to hear. So they were trying to eliminate all confusion, and that's why they just axed it. It never made sense to me either. Why axe it? You have two good songs. One's a remix. You don't it makes even less sense to axe it, because on the version that doesn't have Crossroad, now you just have this song called The Crossroads, the Mo Thug remix. Where the fuck is the original?
Yeah.
Why isn't it there? So it never made sense for me to, for them to axe it. The only thing that I can come up with is people purchasing the album, they didn't want any confusion at all. And they wanted you to know The Crossroads.
Yeah, can you imagine buying Eternal if all you knew was The Crossroads and it's not even on the CD? Like I could
Oh, I bet
see
that
I could see
happened to
it from
people.
that angle.
Because there
Yeah.
were so many versions out there. I bet that happened to people. Especially, could you imagine if you went into the store and they still had some of those old copies, and you were looking for The Crossroads, and you
Wow.
picked it up,
Yeah.
and you popped it in and you got to track 8 and it was just Crossroad and you were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, yeah. You know, now that I'm thinking about this, though, I feel like at the very beginning there were versions that had both versions, but
Yeah.
for a very short period of time, and then they just took it away. And I thought, well, you had the right formula at one point, and why would you take it away? And that's and you know, so anybody that's listening and they're hearing me like knock the Crossroads, just imagine, you know, at the time, Crossroad was a top three of mine. Like my favorite three were Crossroad, Land of the Heartless, and Mo Murder. And once they took one of those three away, I was like, what? And not only that, imagine buying the CD like every time you saw it. You know, so like, you know, in the movie Conspiracy Theory, the guy would always buy Catcher in the Rye whenever he saw it in a bookstore. I would always buy Eternal when I would see it in a store, like on a display. And then I also would always buy the Celestine Prophecy book. But so imagine being like a guy that buys this album a lot, and then you have one of your favorite tracks replaced. And that's what. So that's my bitter taste, is just that memory. And every time I hear about the Crossroads, think about the Crossroads, I remember where I am in Circuit City thinking, now why would you do this? Circuit City used to be a store for young guys. If you don't know Circuit City, it was an electronic store in the 90s. So yeah, that's it. Now, let me ask you this though, your recollection of the Crossroads at the time. So tell me about, were you confused at the beginning that there was a song called The Crossroads and like this song kind of just came out of nowhere?
Oh,
And
so
like, how did you
so
qualify that
we've
in your head?
talked about it before. So I'm on that cuspy line of the Crossroads is what made me a Bone fan. For anybody that hasn't heard the babysitter story, the summary is I had a babysitter that was really into Bone, and she actually pushed Creeping on a Come Up, but it didn't, didn't really register. And then the Crossroads became a huge video and it was on MTV all the time. So if and this is a long time ago, you know what I mean? I'm about to be 35, so this is a long time ago. But if I'm remembering correctly, I believe that I probably heard the Crossroads first, and I do know that I was a huge like I fit in with the people that were like hardcore the Crossroads fans. Bow, 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 bow. Like I wanted it all the time. You know what I mean? Every time MTV played it, it was like, yes, it's on again. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I fit in to that bubble of people. And I actually think that the first time I heard Crossroad, I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? And I know the first time I heard it, um, does anybody remember the CD single? It had the bone faces on the front. In fact, I think it's the same bone faces that are inside of Eternal, the ones with the skulls.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know
And
what
it
I'm
had like a
talking about?
cross on it too. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like a
yeah. So it's
cross.
those same
Crossroads was written in it.
faces. Yeah, but without the skull, and it says Crossroads as a cross. So I think I got my hands on that single, and on that single they had, the obviously the big one, the Mo Thug remix, the Crossroads, but then it also had Crossroad, the instrumental in the song, and I think that's the first time that I heard it, and I immediately just fell in love with the fact that they were nothing alike. This absolutely represented what a remix should be. A remix for a long time turned into the same beat. Sometimes the main contributing artist, in fact, had the same verse. The remix was just a new verse or somebody added or whatever.
Right.
Like I loved that this was a complete. They took the bases of the song, they remixed it all. New verses, new beat, new feeling. The feeling of Crossroad versus the Crossroads as you listen to the
Yeah.
two is completely two different things. So I think that's the first time I heard it, and I grew to love it. And then I got my first copy. So as a young fan putting it together, I started seeking out the different, copies of Eternal, and I started actually doing that because I found out there were two different CDs, like the artwork, two different artwork CDs. There was the one that um I think everybody has, that you kind of got to hold in the light to see the design. And then there was one that had a more whitish design where you didn't have to do that. So in seeking those out, I found the CD that had Crossroad on it and no the Crossroads. And that's how I was able to kind of put together back in the mid 90s that wow, this this fucking thing came later. So as a fan back then, the answer would have been The Crossroads, because I think that that's what helped break me in. Even though, again, the babysitter was pushing Thuggish Ruggish Bone on me, pre-Crossroads. But as a grown-up adult that has heard The Crossroads to death, and had it driven down my face, and had to actually attend. I actually had to attend funerals as a teenager where the song was fucking played. I'm way over it. Crossroad is my pick, for sure. But I never discredit how important The Crossroads is, or I never try to discredit, even though I'm kind of over the song. I never try to discredit how good of a song The Crossroads is, because even though I'm over it, just because I've overheard the fucking thing, it's a beautiful, it's beautifully composed, bro, from all aspects. The beat, the production, bone together on it. The Crossroads is a beautifully composed song.
Well, and the thing that I do most love about The Crossroads is that's the song that's kept Bone Thugs, that the whole world knows that song. Anybody in America that's under 50 knows The Crossroads. And you could bring up Bone Thugs and Harmony to somebody that is not even a rap fan, and they'll say, "Oh, Bone Thugs, The Crossroads, right? What you gotta do?" And it's like,
Miss my Uncle
yeah,
Charles, y'all.
Uncle Charles. Yeah, and so that gave the world that song. So like as I'm knocking it, saying Crossroad, overall though, even at the time period, I saw the future, and I was like, this is the song, and this impact is gonna allow me to have tons of Bone albums for the rest of my life. And sure enough, it played out that way, and that's the reason we still have Bone to this day, is from The Crossroads, and that's why they're still remembered. So I do appreciate its impact, and without it, who knows what might have happened. And you know what the other
How,
funny thing too is that time period was also when all kinds of wacky stuff, like Days of Our Lives came out and it wasn't on the album, and then Shoot 'Em Up. And I was sitting here saying, I'm like, how did I even find out about Shoot 'Em Up? How did I find out about Everyday Thing from the show? These one-offs. And in The Crossroads, I really don't even remember like my first, like say, I almost think I was like, is this song on Eternal? Like, how did I miss this? So, well, you were gonna say something though. You were gonna ask
no,
how?
I was
Is it
just
how?
gonna I was just gonna ask, have you heard the Crossroads? Okay, so the remix, but it's the remix of the remix, the Flesh Flip that has Flesh and Bone on it. Have you heard that one?
Yeah, the version I always heard, it always has like this FM radio sound to it. Like, do you have a clear sounding perfect CD quality
Yeah,
version,
yeah,
or does it
I
sound
do.
all weird?
In fact, I think Lazy Bone actually ended up releasing a CD quality on something, on one of those Lazy albums that he put out. I think that there's one, but I have one as well, and I always wondered. I was like, I wonder if this was the Crossroads remix, and they knew the song was so good, and because Flesh and Bone wasn't with them, they knew that Def Jam was going to end up with some kind of piece of this song. And I've always wondered if that really was the first remix, and then the Flesh, flip just got released later. But I've always wondered if Flesh really was in the original, and they had to cut him out because of the Def Jam situation, or if they really added Flesh and Bone, just after, like they were just like, we got
Did,
to get
did,
Flesh and Bone in this thing.
did you ask Bobby Jones about that? Because I feel like Bobby might have talked about that, or maybe I'm confusing that with World So Cruel, Crossroads Part
Yeah,
Two. Am I thinking of
it's the
World
world
So
so
Cruel? Okay.
cruel. Um, but I mean, hey, I may have to reach out to Bobby Jones and ask Bobby Jones that question, about the Crossroads versus Crossroads, and I guess this Flesh Flip. But that is our pick here today on the question of the day. John and I both went with Crossroad, the original release. But now it's your time to pick. We want to know if you prefer Crossroad or The Crossroads, the DJ Unique Mo Thug remix. Make sure you drop your comment below. Let us know your answer. Let us know why you picked it. And don't forget, share this with another Bone fan. That way we can find out what their favorite is as well. And we will catch you guys on the next one.
Beyond the harmony for the fans we celebrate.